Welcome to Gleaning Mustard Seeds with Jerrie Barber. Mr. Barber is a preacher, a ventriloquist, a barefoot runner, and writes 2 blogs. When Jerrie communicates, he encourages people, try not to learn very much. Find a mustard seed. In the next few minutes, try not to learn very much. Look for something you can do to move a mountain, remove a stumbling block, or provide a stepping stone for yourself or someone else. And now, here's Jerrie with this week's mustard seed.
My first raise and why I turned it down. How wise and kind shepherds helped a scared young preacher. I've been at this church for about a year. It was my second full-time work. I was 24 years old. The elders told me I've been doing a good job as their preacher, and they were going to give me a raise. The only raise I'd ever received was when I was 12 years old. I was working at Harbor's grocery store in Centerville, Tennessee. They increased my pay for working all day Saturday from $2.25 a day to $2.50 a day. However, I grew up hearing members of the church talk about preachers who only preached for money, heard about preachers who were paid too much and drove expensive cars. I heard of preachers who bought too many clothes. I was scared to talk with elders about money. Whenever I was asked what I wanted to be paid to preach for a church, my standard answer was, I've never talked about money and I'm not going to start talking now. The elders encouraged me to accept the raise, assuring me that I was working hard and doing a good job. However, I refused. My reply, if I were to take a raise, I'm afraid the members would think I was preaching for money. My main goal was to please everybody and have no one criticizing me. A few months later, the elders approached me again. Jerrie, we have a problem and would like to know if you'd help us. My response, yeah, tell me how I can help you. I'll be glad to. My main goal was to please everybody and have no one criticizing me. They continued, we've had several members ask us if we've given you a raise since you came. Of course, we had to tell them we hadn't. We didn't tell them you'd turned us down for a raise. It would really help us if you'd let us give you a little more money each week. Then when members ask us, we can tell them we have. Will you help us? Now, I was in a bind. I didn't want members to think I was preaching for money. I didn't understand the principle of inflation and that I needed a raise to stay even, but I also wanted to do everything I could to please my elders. I gave in and accepted the raise. About a year later, when we had our second child without insurance, the elders talked with me. They instructed me to go to the office downtown and join the Farm Bureau. They also told me to enroll in Blue Cross Blue Shield medical insurance for my family and me. The church would pay for it, $50 a month. That was my raise for that year. Now I was acclimated to raises. I haven't protested a raise since that time. Observations. When you select a young preacher, you get a young, inexperienced preacher. That's a fact of life. There's no way any college or preacher training school can deal with every area of ignorance and insecurity of every man who becomes a preacher. Don't expect 40 years of wisdom from a 25-year-old preacher. Accept the opportunity to mold and encourage a servant of God who is being shaped for a lifetime. To paraphrase and appropriate one of David's statements, deal gently with the young man. That's what these good brethren did for me. 2, good shepherds are a great blessing to anyone, including a young and inexperienced preacher. E. Holly, Carl Price, and Ed Ryden were helpful to me in many ways. They suggested, they complimented, they corrected, they asked my thoughts on what they were planning for the church. They asked for my input when they had problems. They included me as a member of the leadership team. They expressed appreciation often. Their concern along with Robert Oglesby, who was appointed a few years later, provided a good model of how good shepherds care for Christians in a congregation, including the preacher and his family. Paul wrote in Ephesians 4:29, "Let no corrupting talk come out of your mouths, but only such as is good for building up as fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear." How have you been encouraged, and how do you look for ways to encourage others?
Thank you for listening to Gleaning Mustard Seeds with Jerrie Barber. If you found a mustard seed, send a text or email with the link to a friend. This podcast was brought to you by Jerrie Wayne Barber, Sales Manager with AmeriPro Roofing. AmeriPro Roofing has been around since the year 2000 and has had an office in Franklin, Tennessee for the last 10 years. We have installed well over 200,000 roofs nationwide and are excellent at replacing roofs, gutters, and siding. We are reasonably priced and outstanding at working with your insurance, which helps minimize your out-of-pocket expense. If you would like a free inspection of your roof and other exteriors, please call Jerrie Barber at 931-628-3390 for an appointment in Middle Tennessee. AmeriPro Roofing. Standards through the roof. Thank you for listening. Jerrie looks forward to next week as we continue to collect and plant mustard seeds.